Video we're going to be covering smithing and mainly about seals really. I want to cover a lot about seals on this particular video, but I will mention certain things about smithing which might be relevant to you. I will note that PowerPix's guide on this is really useful, so I recommend checking that out wholeheartedly, and I believe Sirix's guide will have useful information in there as well, so definitely check out those two guides. Really good guides. So yeah, we'll start off with the location of Kurogane Smithing, which is there. If we just zoom out a bit, you can see this is where you start pretty much. That's the main sort of inn. So you're coming through here, all the way up on the left hand side until you're there. Right about there. And it's right next to a palanquin, so you've got a quick fast travel there as well. Alright, we'll get straight into it. This is kind of brutal, but yeah. Let's start with seals. So, certain seals now actually drop in dungeon missions. So you've got the Greed, Fierce Deity, Heavy Drinker, Reverence, Drunken Craze, Virtuous, and Special moves. So I'd recommend for those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Was that 7? Yeah, it was 7. For those 7, basically you just want to use the dungeons and get them in the dungeon, because you got, like, it'll just save you so much time. It really will. It's not even worth explaining. Right, seeding. Probably the worst part of the game I have ever seen in any game. This whole business of crafting was the most infuriating thing in the world for me. So if you go in, you craft. I'd recommend doing this after you've got to the max level, because it'll be a lot cheaper. But it's still really expensive, so if you need money, you need money. So what you want to do is you want to buy a load of bundle blades, as many as you can get. Really cheap blade. I think that you get them in, was it Mukarogai? Or it might be from the swordsmith guy that sells weapons on the left hand side of the map. Wherever you get it from, buy a load of those. So, you want to buy the silver hammers, as explained previously. You can get them from the gambling den. So do the chicken racing, get your load of money, get a load of gambling tickets sold for silver hammers. And then once you got the silver hammers, you can use them in the Kurogane Smithing. So as you can see, there's an empty slot there. So what you're going to do, there's a thing called seeding. So basically, you're going to save it. You're going to use these silver hammers on a keen blade. And basically count how many times it takes to get a seal. Okay? So you go 1, no seal, craft again, silver hammer, that's 2. Hopefully it'll be a short one for this demonstration. No, it's not going to be, is it? It's going to be about 10. Craft again. Silver hammer, yeah. 3. Okay, that's pretty low. So it took 3 times to get that sphere seal attack. So what you're going to do is you're going to use a silver hammer. You're going to load it after you've done this. So you know it's going to be 3 times on the RNG, basically, with silver hammers. So you use silver hammer on keen blade 2 times once you load it, and then whichever particular one that's on the list, so I'd recommend PowerPix's guide for doing it. So whichever one you need, so let's say you needed, you know, this one, whatever that is, Radiant Drunkard. So say you needed that. We've got Handy Blade. You'd use a silver hammer. So say you wanted Drunken Craze or whatever's on the list. If you go to PowerPix's guide, go down to the list, it'll show you a list of things where it's got a possibility of dropping whichever sphere seal or square seal you need. So essentially, once you've done your 2 silver hammers on your keen blades, you've got a chance now of getting a particular seal. So if you used it on this, say you wanted Drunken Craze and this was the one that gave you Drunken Craze, if you use the silver hammer on this, on the 3rd strike of the RNG, it doesn't change, by the way, so it'll always be 3. So you always use it'll always be 3 as long as it's 3 in the first place, if that makes sense. So now that I've got a seal, it'll reset to some other number, so that's why you have to keep doing the keen blades to find out which number it is. But yeah, we've established it's 3 for this particular one. So 1, 2 on the keen blades, you go to the Radiant Drunkard or whichever one you need. So say I need a Drunken Craze, I hit this, let's say it didn't give me Drunken Craze. If it doesn't give you Drunken Craze, it's never going to give you Drunken Craze with this particular item on this particular RNG set. So do not keep repeating that on this particular weapon. I would just go to another weapon. If you've only got like a few left, just go for other weapons and try your luck with them. If none of them work, I would just load it, get the 3 seals or whatever, and then just continue on, because obviously it's worthless. Hopefully that makes sense, because it's so hard to explain with the seeding. So you get the RNG. So you got, in this particular case, I'll try and explain it again. In this particular case, the RNG was 3 to get a seal. So you load it, you craft 2 of the basic things, because they're the easiest to craft. And then you go to whichever weapon you want, and then it will always drop a seal at that point, but it might not drop the seal you want. So that's the issue. If it doesn't drop the seal you want, it's never going to drop any other seal on that particular go. So do not repeat yourself doing it. You will waste so much time. I wasted hours just on the same one, just like, why is it not giving me something different? Why is it not doing this? It really frustrated me, which is another reason I hate this game, because the RNG should be RNG, because that's what RNG is. But yeah, ridiculous. But you can go for other random ones, and on that particular guide that PowerPix has done, it's a really good guide, but it's not the be-all and end-all of which weapon can drop what, if that makes sense. So if you go for a random weapon, it might drop what you need. So you could go through loads of different weapons to just see if it drops, you know, the particular seal you need. It's very, very, very time consuming, and it's very money consuming, because everything's really expensive in this smithing place, even at level 20, which is really frustrating. So don't do what I did and waste your time like that. That's the biggest tip I can give you for seeding. It's really, really annoying. But let's say, you know, we got a different one that we wanted. We didn't get this one that we wanted, but we got a different one that we wanted, or we didn't get anything that we wanted. Just reset the RNG by crafting again on the keen blade. So that'll give you a seal of attack, and then you start crafting again, and it's just, well, you'd save it after that, and then you'd start the process again. And it might be, you know, it can be 1, it could be 5, it could be 10. It's all RNG, how many times it takes to get the seal to appear. But hopefully that makes sense. That's going to help you a lot, if you are listening. It's going to help you a lot. It's going to save you some time. I would recommend, firstly though, read his guide on what gets dropped in terms of golden sneaks, in terms of dungeons, in terms of random encounters. Like, random encounters now drop quite a few. So by the end of the game, you might be quite lucky if you've done a bit of golden sneak farming and you've done a bit of dungeoning. You might be quite lucky to not have too many to go. I had loads to go by the end of the game, and I was fuming. So, and I didn't know how the seeding worked. I thought it was RNG at the point of this, where, you know, you're crafting at the last one. But it turns out it's not RNG. It's fixed. So it's going to give you the same thing every time, no matter how many times you do it. So do not waste your time with that, please. That is the biggest bit of advice I can give you on that. If you go to there's another part of this which is really frustrating, because you have to equip the seals to this. So I'll give you an example now. If the success rate's 100, it's always going to work. Let's say the success rate's 98%, okay? If you use this and it doesn't work, obviously save it before you even try, because you'll just waste things, important things mainly. If you've got that 98%, you want to use another 98% thing. So let's say I had 3 on the brinks or whatever. If it doesn't work the first time, basically you need to reset the RNG on 98%, or at least I did on my game, which was ridiculous. So you need something else that's 98% to sort of reset the clock on it, because it will always lose if it's 98% now on anything. On any of these seals, if they were 98, say they were all 98%, any one of those, if it loses the first time, it's going to lose on any of them if they're 98%. If it was 90%, it might win. Like, that might reset the RNG, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I had to reset it by using the same amount, which was really frustrating. I got proper annoyed. I'm not sure if, like, say you used 100% afterwards, and then you tried it again, maybe it'd work. I don't think it does. I think it's literally locks that RNG on that percentage. That's what happened to me, at least. And if that's not the case, I apologise, but I'm 99% certain that happened to me, because I just could not, for the life of me, get some of them to go in. I was just like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And then I tried, let's say I was trying to get this one in, trying to get adamantine in. It just wouldn't have it. Success was, say it just failed. 9% failed. It's like, oh Christ, right. And then I'll try loyalty. Do that, come back to it, do another one, 90% failed again. And it just kept failing. I'm sure that's what happened. So I would use, greed. I've got 12 of them. Whack greed on, resets the RNG. Try again, bang. It works, or it doesn't work, and then you just use another one. And it works, 90% pretty high chance. But that is how, I'm pretty sure that's how seals work for me. It was the worst not knowing that. So, now you know, please utilize it. Make sure you've got enough. Make sure you're saving as well before you do anything on this. Like anything to do with crafting, just save it. Save it. Whatever happens, happens. You can always reload it, But now that you know the secrets of seeding and the RNG nonsense on 98% or 90% or whatever doesn't work, infuriating nonsense. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the best 2 tips I can give you. And PowerPix has them on his guide, so please read his guide. He's got the spreadsheet there, which you can use. It's really useful. Can't begin to explain how useful that guide was in terms of this crafting nightmare. Everything else on the game wasn't that bad. It was just this absolute nonsense. You will have to grind shed loads of dungeons just to get the materials for all of these on the crafting. Like, there's just so much. Look at, you need 5, 10, 1, 10, 10, 10. Well, I would recommend copying a list off maybe Sirix's or PowerPix. I can't remember if PowerPix did a list of ingredients. I'm sure Sirix did. Copy his list, put it into a spreadsheet, and just tick them off however much you need. So, especially for the dragon whiskers and stuff like that. Is it this stuff? Where is it? There you go, like this stuff. So just tick off like 20, 20, 21, and then you create them or whatever, which is fine. So yeah, that's another good tip. Use the dungeons, smash the dungeons. I think there's certain items which should help with drop rates and stuff like that. You'd probably have to look into that. I'm pretty sure there is. I had some decent drop rates going on. I don't think I intentionally did, but I'm pretty sure some of the seals give you decent stuff. So, like increased drop rates and stuff like that. So definitely worth looking into that. Golden Sneaks grinding. Okay, yes. So, get a rogue mask. Go to the Palanquin area next to Rakagai Camo River. Interact with the Palanquin, so talk to the Palanquin people, and basically that'll reset the enemies around you if you just cancel out of it. So if you see one person on his own, that's going to be a golden sneak. So basically you're just going to grind by doing that, get the golden sneak, back to the palanquin, reset, and well, keep talking to them until you get the one person on his own, go and attack him, rinse and repeat over and over again, and hopefully you'll get some of the drops that you need without having to do the seeding nonsense method, which took absolute years. He does do a list of seals as well, power picks, which is really useful. So yeah, you don't need the Kiwami seals, I don't think they count towards it, so make a note of that. Yes, there is one with the Repentance seal. It's the Yoshiyuki. Oh my god, yeah. So it's one of the dungeons. I think it was Rescue the Kidnapped Official 1. So that's the one you need to do over and over again. If you get a Yoshiyuki drop, basically just check your inventory on the Yoshiyukis. If it has the is it called Reverence? Oh, Repentance, sorry. If it's got the Repentance seal on it, that's it. Like that's the one you need. Make sure it's a loose one though. Make sure you see on the screen now there is like 4 prongs. That means it's locked in. Let me try and find one that's not locked in. In fact, it'd be in my inventory, wouldn't it? Equipment. Right, so one that's not locked in would look like that. Okay, so you can see 2 locked in and the rest are not locked in. If they're not locked in, it means you can dismantle them. And once you dismantle them, let's say I dismantled the Blade of the Shogun now, I would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those 5 specific seals. So you're looking for a Yoshiyuki with that particular seal, and then you would just dismantle it, and then you get that seal. And there's only one. I think that's the one of a kind one. It didn't take me that long to get it. I think I was quite lucky on that one, but everything else was just horrendous. So it is absolute nightmarish. When you grind in Dragon Whiskers or Fangs or whatever in Sanada Takedown, I think it is the final dungeon, you can get quite a deep. Well, you get 20 Ryu anyway from fighting it. You also might get the Dragonhawk gun drop, which gives you like 200 Ryu or something like that. So that's really useful for money. So keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure which is quicker, the chicken racing, depends on your luck. But yeah. So, also, yeah, obviously, once you finish the game, say you're doing this at the end of the game, just save it again, dismantle all the equipment with extra seals on, and see where you're up to, tick them off as you go, on your list of seals, and yeah, you'll have those in your inventory already, so you won't need to grind for them, hopefully. Hopefully you're luckier than me, and it won't take you that long, but boy howdy was it a terrible time for me. Probably one of the worst grinds I've ever done, and not for the difficulty, it was just because it's so unclear on the RNG aspect of it. It was infuriating. So yeah, check out PowerPix's guide, smithing equipment completion section, because it's got really useful tips in there, a lot of which we've covered today, but he's got the spreadsheets and stuff. Again, Sirix's guide's always good. But that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. If you've made it this far, you're an absolute trooper. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the videos. And if you've got any questions, drop me a comment. I'm happy to answer anything. So, thank you for watching. Take care. Peace out.